welcome, welcome. We are about 15 minutes late. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon to you, and welcome to the Storybook Series, Day 4. Welcome. Who's here today? Thank you all for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking to none other than Sola Ogunbiyi. Super excited. Welcome, Ugani26. Hi, how are you? So today we're talking with Sola Ogunbiyi, author of Love Made Me Do This. She has quite a number of books. Oh, hey, guess who's here? Guess who is here? Oh, guess who's coming up? Guess who's coming up? Excited. Hi, Shola.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon.
I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Storybook Series. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm going to do one bad English, but let me not crack the joke here. So
You want to do what? What did you say?
I'm going to speak one bad English in response, and I know people will not get the joke, so let's just keep it moving.
Okay.
But how are you? How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you? How's your day going?
My day has been quite interesting, dramatic, interesting. There are two words that we can use to describe it, but thank God, so far so good. We've survived.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
I actually made a mistake saying that you had 2 books. You actually have 3 books, not 2.
Yeah.
I actually have 3
I'm
books,
shy.
not 2. Okay. I actually have 3 books, and the funny thing is, writing is never your daytime job. So I can imagine for somebody that is a full-time writer and doesn't even have one book, that can be quite challenging when you hear something like that.
No, it's not. Oh, hey. So the truth is that I like to write. So I mean, my job actually requires me to write. So it's not as if I don't write at my daytime job. And the other 2 books, they were like gifts to myself on my birthday when I was 25. So it was more like how people do. I'm making a new dress for my
Which
birthday.
one? Which ones were gifts to yourself?
Loss made me do this, and 25 and counting. So they were more like birthday books for myself and just to celebrate my 25th birthday. So the third one, Loss brought me here. I actually did not plan on writing it, let me be honest. It was COVID. It was COVID that made me write that
Thank you,
book.
COVID.
And it was because we're all like locked in. There were a range of emotions. I had lost, not lost. I had left my previous job, planning to go to another one, but then because of COVID, like a lot of things were happening, and the people that I had given me an offer reneged on it. So I was like in the middle of the deep blue sea, and what's the other, and the I don't know the idiom
Let's
of
not
how they
say the
say
other one.
So that's what made me write that, because I was really in a really bad state, and I just channeled how I felt into writing.
Great. So I'll try to pull up a profile, and I have. So I'm going to read about Shola for those that don't know Shola Ogunbiyi. So Shola Ogunbiyi is a storyteller and mental health advocate. A passion for knowledge and understanding life and people propelled her to study philosophy and obtain a master's in managerial psychology, both from the University of Lagos. She started her mental health advocacy as a content writer volunteer in Mani. She was in charge of assigning, reviewing, and managing the volunteers in content creation for the organization. Shola has invested her time and resources in mental health awareness and education, and has written 2 books and a short piece on vulnerability, Lost Brought Me Here, in her spare time she does photography and video editing. If she's not reading, she's glued to the screen, writing or watching TV series. So I guess it's not
Yeah.
hard to know why you want to write since you're a consumer of content
Yeah.
regularly. What's
Mm-hmm.
your favorite series to watch?
That's a very hard question because I have so many. I can't say I have one particular one because
Okay,
I
which one have
mean
you watched more
I
than once?
many. I can't even. Okay, so I have watched The Office more than once. I have watched Game of Thrones. Also, I have watched Working Moms. If I'm going for going to do this, I will not live here. Like I've listed all the things that I've rewatched. As in, I'm the kind of person that rewatches all my series over and over again because I don't want to watch new ones. So trust me.
Are you serious? So
Yeah.
that means you're emotionally
Mhm.
attached to your content,
Yes.
the series, to watch
I
you
prefer
like.
series to movies because movies are just you watch and you're done. But series like
Yeah.
there's more like until they now lose the plot. But like yeah, series every day over movies.
Oh wow. Okay, so this why you almost made your book serial because you have Lost Made Me Do This, Lost Brought Me Here. You know, your books are almost like series, and like almost like maybe because you
Well,
like series. So hey,
well, maybe not, maybe, but like I mean, somebody had asked me that a while back, and okay, so the title "Lost Made Me Do This," the first one was because I had lost my laptop. And I see one of my friends being silly here. She said, I'm your biggest fan. Hi, I'm also your biggest fan. So I lost my laptop, like all my documents on it wiped off. So I was really, 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 really sad for like a couple of months. So I literally like had to channel all my feelings into that. That's why it became so I lost my laptop. So loss made me do this, loss made me write all this. Ironically, when I was writing the loss brought me here for during COVID, it wasn't like I thought about it like, oh, I'm thinking of how to link loss and whatever. It was just like my journey, like I said, basically it was saying I'm here right now. I don't know what's going to happen to me in the next couple of years, especially with the fact that COVID has, come to disrupt a lot of things. So it was that the fact that I have lost in quotes now, not necessarily lost um
your
something. It
laptop.
was lost in it was lost time, lost opportunities, lost like because I talked about like a dress I used to wear that I had to let go because we're all at home and there was no more like going somewhere to an office or whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much what the title Lost Made Brought Me Here is about. So it's not necessarily about losing, like loss in the actual sense. It's just that sometimes you're losing stuff unconsciously every day in life, maybe, but you're gaining something. So it's not that you're losing and you have nothing to recover. It's that think of it like every day you're losing something, but you're also gaining something. So yeah, that's where the title came about.
So interestingly, your book is this anyway that I have here, Lost Made Me Do This, a compilation of poems.
No, that was Lost Made Me Do This. Yes, Lost Made Me Do This is a compilation
Yeah,
of poems.
Lost Made Me Do This is a
Yeah.
combination of poems. I found that pretty
Mm-hmm.
interesting. At the end of each poem, you had like a Bible verse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bible was basically your inspiration for writing Lost
Mm-hmm.
Made Me Do
Mm-hmm.
This.
Yes, yes. And if you read Lost Made Me Do This, I was trying to do like some sort of wordplay with Bible verses and just talking about like I mean I had a Muslim friend that read that book and she was like, Shola, do you know that I was up until the end and I realized they were using Bible verses to do this? And I was like, I felt really cool because like if you pick it up, you wouldn't even know until like maybe it
Yeah.
dawns on you to be like. So I felt really, really like smart. Like in my mind, I was like, hey, look at me being creative and word playing and all. So yeah, I like
I
that
think it was
we
actually
picked that
quite
up.
beautiful. Like you just picked because when I was in, I was like, this looks like a Bible verse. I'm like, but it was one I just saw. I think it was one of Jonathan and the friendship between David and Jonathan that I now realized, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
a Bible verse. So I went to check it. I'm like, okay, it's actually a Bible verse. So
Yeah.
and I found it very very interesting. I thought it was a really beautiful idea. Like you just take a Bible verse and just expound on that sort. and get people to feel the emotion of it from a modern day perspective, not necessarily from a thou art, you are the loveliest of them all perspective. How did that idea come to you?
I honestly, I really can't remember, but I know that. So one random day, I was in my room and I wrote something. I can't remember what it is. Let me be honest. I wrote something. So I showed my sister and my brother because those ones are they're my first audience. So I ran it by them and I was like, "What do you guys think?" But I was like, "Oh, nice. What's it about?" That I said, "No, tell me what you think about it first. Then I'll tell you what I was trying to get." And he's like, "Oh, you're talking about something in the Bible, and then is it this story?" I really can't remember, to be honest. And I was like, "Yeah." So what do you think if I write something like this a lot? Do you think you read it? He's like, "Yeah, sure." Because I mean, like I said, they're my biggest fans. So obviously they're the ones that gingered me.
Are you sure it's not what's her name? Styles by what's the name that says she's the biggest fan?
Ego, yes, my friend Ego. Yeah. So like I said, it was basically I just did a word play and I ran it by my brother and sister and they were like, "It's really nice." And then I said, "Okay, let me just expand on this." And I went on and on and on and on. And I mean, when I sent to one of my friends who's because honestly, the truth is, I wasn't planning on launching a book. I wasn't planning on selling this book. I wasn't planning on, becoming a writer, like an author. If someone told me that maybe in my lifetime, I'll be like, it's not my type. Like, I'm very unserious. I think for serious people that. So literally, I sent to her. And then she said, "Should you know that you can make this thing into like a book and people will buy it?" And I was like, "Who's going to buy this kind of thing?" I just plan on like.
Who was this person? Who was this person do?
Her name is Sola Ajayi, like also called.
Okay, that was the person that you.
Yes. She helped. She edited the book for me, and she was one that handled the whole publishing because I made hard copies of it. She went above and beyond. Honestly, shout out to Shola. Anywhere you are, God bless you. She's still my G anyway. But my point is that she was the one that really pushed me and said, "Shola, you need to make this book, like you need to make this thing into a book that, oh my God, you wrote about rape and it's like it's not even the cringe-worthy type of rape because I talked about, that part in the Bible that was it Absalom that raped his sister, and she's like, he talked about it in such a very beautiful way. Not that rape is beautiful, but the fact that you talked about it, like you wouldn't even understand that that's what it was about. So she's like, "Shola, no, really, you have to sell this thing. In fact, you must sell it. I'm going to buy the first book." And she did. And I remember like looking back like a couple of months later when I did a launch, my mom was even looking at me and saying, "How did you have time to do this? Like, I'm surprised. Like, where did you get the money from?" And honestly, I kid you not, the venue, people just rallied around. One of my friends had an uncle that had a space and said I should take the space for free. Another person said she's going to cover like food. Like, so thinking about it, it's not like I said, Shola, you're a writer and you must write a book. It's just something I stumbled on, and it was more of me doing it afraid, and more of me being like, okay, since people said they like it, let me just try it, that kind of thing. So like I'm still a bit shy when people say, you've written 2 books. I'm always like, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like my pet projects, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much the summary of that.
I think the beautiful thing in everything you said is like you never know how a little idea can just spark a large flame and then spark rally and support and family and friends and support and get it actually published. And that just shows that no matter how silly an idea is, sometimes just find the right person to run it by. Because can imagine if you told the wrong person, like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do.
True.
But I'm even wondering why it was Shola you actually did go to speak to. Why didn't you speak to somebody else? Because that was what really helped the idea to grow. Did you have a reason for speaking to a person?
Shola is a content creator. So Shola, she also does a lot of publishing. Like she lives around those people that make books, so she knows the ins and outs of about it. So honestly, it's not as if I said, "Who do I know? Who can I meet?" I was speaking to her like randomly over WhatsApp, and I was like, "Hey, what's up? Do you think you can help me look over something? What do you think of it?" She just like I said, just took it and ran with it, literally. So it was now in hindsight that I think about it that so a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to publish a book," but mine was self-published. It's not like I knew a publisher, and I think maybe if I'm going to probably do something in the nearest future, I'll probably have to sit down, get like a proper publisher that would, help me do the marketing. Because everything I did myself, like it was from my email, I was sending people the books, to send it to my account. There wasn't, was a bit haphazard, if I'm being honest, because I mean, like I said, it's in hindsight. But like, if I'm going to do the proper way, I'll probably sit down, research, and look for like publishers, look for someone that will probably make it, will handle the whole marketing and the publicity for me if I'm going to do that in the long run. But like I said, Shola was a content writer. She used to write in, I mentioned I used to volunteer in Mental Health in Nigeria as a content writer. That's how I met her. So she did a lot of writings and she knew a lot of writers. So I just figured, I mean, who best to run this by?
Yeah, so just it's about speaking to the right person or the right people to help you with your idea. I find it very interesting that you actually did two at once. Why didn't you stop at one? Oh, we have to go for two. I mean,
No,
that was
okay,
very good.
No, it was like I said, it was my birthday gift to myself, and 25 and counting is more of, it wasn't particularly me that wrote it. So I messaged a couple of people I knew, messaged a lot of people, and I said, if you're, what will you say to your 25-year-old self? And then they were all just writing stuff to me. Like I messaged like grandpas and aunties and uncle. I even messaged people younger than me, like so that they could write a letter to their 25-year-old self and stuff. So it was that one was like, for me, it was more of, Shola, you're growing. Don't think of it like this is your peak. Like there's more to life than being 25. There's so much you can do. Like a lot of people talk about their regrets, things that they wish they had done and whatnot. So yeah, 25 and counting was just like more of like celebrating my birthday. The actual book was Lost Made Me Do This. If I'm being, as in, if I really want to go nitty gritty on the details.
So, what was your best advice that someone shared in 25 and counting?
Best. I really don't know, because I mean, they're all dear to me. But if I'm going to pick one, it would probably be Dolapo, my friend. He was my colleague actually, and he said that I wish I knew God earlier. Like I wish I was more like. And for me, it's not like he's not a fantastic person or an amazing Christian right now, but he talked about it like more of, there's so many things that he would have done for Christ, like when he was like younger, and he's not saying that he's regretting, but he just wished that, there's some things that you can't take back, there's some actions that you can't take back that he had done. And for me, that was like really raw. And I mean, for coming from a guy, like I remember, I see him at work all the time, and he's like an amazing person, but that for me was the most vulnerable time I'd ever like heard him say something like that. So yeah, I think that for me, like, but all of them, if I'm being honest, were dear to me, because everybody was writing to me from a place of introspection or like, thinking forward. So, but the rap wasn't hit hard the most, because I had never really considered my Christianity as some sort of thing that I should be like, man. I mean, I grew up in like a Christian home. Like I used to go to children's church from the time I could talk. So like, almost took it for granted, if I'm being honest. So I never really thought of it. Like when I heard people's stories of like, when I became a Christian, this was what happened to me. The bus stumbled 3 times. Mine was just one day they said, who wants to give their life to Christ in children's church? And I came out. So like, for me, it wasn't like anything grand. So when he said that thing, it kind of made me like humbled that, wow, this thing I've taken for granted. Somebody actually felt like, this is really deep and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. So if you were to say thank you to your best friend that you lost, what would you say now?
If I say thank you to who?
Your best friend. Say your laptop was your best friend.
Yes.
I mean, if you met your laptop now, let's say your laptop now, what would you say? What's her name again? Kimberly?
Miracle. Her name was Miracle. Yes.
What would you say to Miracle?
God, like, I actually do miss her, and
still,
like, but I do miss her, because I mean, it was we went, she fell down so many times. Like, I had repaired her so many times. Like, I remember it was my first laptop that my mom gave me, and I felt like, this was something that was mine. I didn't have to share with my siblings. Growing up in like my home, everything was shared. So this
And
was
you're the
something that
first
was just,
again, so
you know, so this was something that was just for me, and then I had to lose that. But the truth is that that's the thing we lost. Good things come and we don't even know. So like the demise on when I lost her, like it brought a lot of new opportunities. I would never have been able to write this if I didn't lose that laptop, because I would never have been, confident enough. I just thought, you know what, my laptop is gone. What can I do to make myself feel better? And I did. And every time like I meet someone that randomly doesn't need somebody random story, somebody messaged me on LinkedIn and said that he had read one of my stuff, and I was so like freaked out, because I mean it was random. Because how do you even like just search for somebody gave him the stuff, or maybe shared the link with him, and then he was looking on LinkedIn and he said that name looks familiar, and then he messaged me and he's like, hi, what's up? That he wanted me to do a project with him, that did I write something one time, he read it and he's so amazed that he can't believe that he's actually, and I was like, it's so mind-boggling when I hear people say things like something that I took as a joke, like that project has become. So yes, I'm obviously going to be like grateful to the experience I had with her, but obviously like the loss of her brought a lot of new pleasant opportunities, and I can't take for granted.
but really, how did you get yourself to move past because you, from what I hear you say, you were really, really emotionally tied to
I
that
was I
laptop
was
and
I
the
was I
experiences
was
and all that you got in it.
depressed.
How did you get yourself to move from, oh, I've lost everything, oh my, because I don't understand the value of, I write, so I know how my words are precious to me. I have words I've
Mm,
written like 10 years back, so I still store them, I
mm.
read them over and over again. So to lose them is like, so how were you able to move past that loss to start writing again?
I mean, I was very sad, if I was being honest. I think I even went for therapy at some point, not necessarily related to the loss, but it kind of happened simultaneously there. But I mean, I think that period I had like a broken relationship. I had like intense deliverables at work. So it was like work issues, relationship issues, and then this laptop thing. So I remember feeling very, very overwhelming. And if I was being honest, it had suicidal. So I had to go, I went for therapy. I mean, it wasn't a pleasant experience, because I would say that maybe the and this is not a slight on therapist or anything, but that particular one I had, because I mean I work in the mental health space, so I understand the importance of therapy and whatnot. But that particular episode I had was really not pleasant. So I remember like feeling bad that I feel very awful, and I actually did go speak to someone, but it didn't even like help me feel. But I remember they gave me drugs, to be honest, but I just thought I'm not there yet. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take drugs. So what I did was I took each day at a time. So the non-feeling I was feeling, I just took it like, okay, you'll be fine. So I remember whenever I was getting overwhelmed, there's this one of my friends from Mani, her name is Dr. Wande. She said, whenever I feel overwhelmed, just count, just breathe, like just use those breathing techniques to calm yourself down. And that's what I did. And I remember like I think this happened like sometime in December. So by like January, February, the new year, new resolutions and whatnot, I kept on telling myself, okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then I had left that job and I left that relationship. So it was kind of like, new beginnings. So I was thinking,
Yeah.
okay, what do I do? So what do I do? So I remember like I took a pen and a biro and I began to write. So I started writing and writing. I used to use my brother's laptop sometimes, and I think I can't remember when I eventually got a new one. To think about it, but I know that it was a gradual process. It was a really long time, because I'm saying this happened in December 2017, and I think I wrote that book in 2018. So yeah, that you can imagine how the period of time I launched Lost Mainly Do This on my birthday in July 2018. So it took a couple of months before I eventually was able to sit down, and I was writing daily. So it wasn't until I started to write all at once.
Mm.
So I just give myself targets and be like, I mean, I read something in the Bible today I think would be interesting to write about. And then I message all those people, and I was getting like sending them reminders and stuff and whatnot. So yeah, it was just a very gradual, slow process. And obviously I prayed about it. It's not, I don't want to diminish the fact that I spoke to the Holy Spirit about it. I mean, that period for me, there was someone I met then. She's in the US now. She's like that. You need to take this time with, like, a new relationship with God. So I remember I was more like prayerful. I was more at peace, because I wasn't like, how it's not like I had a job to go to, so there was no pressure on doing something. I was just taking things at my own pace and stuff. So yeah, I remember the day I launched it, and I had 0 naira in my account. I had 0 naira in my account because I had used all my money for stuff, and then people started to buy. Like, how when you wake up that morning with, in fact, I think I had -0 because I was owing Uber. So I remember by like the night I slept, people had paid and bought stuff, and I was like, wow, like, who would have thought? Like, so yeah, it was a really, really pleasant journey. I mean, not one I think I want to relive, but I mean, yeah.
But we have to write another book, yes, more books, yes, for not having to lose.
Yeah.
Even if you do lose anything, it's turning to good. Make lemonade out of lemons.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shola. Can you tell us how we can get your book?
So I don't have any more hard copies of Lost Made Me Do This and 25 Accounting, but I have e-copies, and they go for 2,000 naira each. So you can just send me a DM or a mail. Okay, no, a DM. But Lost Brought Me Here is free. It was like my mini project, and it was just talk about my vulnerable state and how like we should appreciate stuff. It's on my bio. The link is on my bio, so you can get that for free. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shola. Thank you for coming. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thank you. It was an amazing time. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you.
Too.
We learned a thing or two. And let me also mention, part of the reasons why I'm having this series is because I'm launching an online class for first-time writers. Write your first book, and it's starting June 14th. So if you want to write your book, like in this case, it's a poem. We've done different books over the course of this entire week, and you can write any kind of book. Just sign up for the course. You can send me a DM, and I will get you hooked up. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We have our last session tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you again, Shola, for coming.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.